here for HR Conclave, Kolkata chapter. We are here from Keka. For those who don't know, let me give you a brief introduction about who we are, what we do. So Keka was founded back in 2015 by our CEO, Mr. Vijay Alamanchali. And basically, it was incepted to eliminate the clunky software, and we wanted to create a simple and more easy to use software solution wherein people experience platform, and we are a leading SME tech HR in India for the SME space between anywhere from 20 employees to 5,000 employee count. Well, without any further ado, let me just go ahead and introduce our first moderator for today. Mr. Kshitij Sachan is our process coach. He has helped about more than 5,000 companies through their digital transformation journey. He has a great understanding, and his expertise in the right talent management has helped hundreds of companies across the globe reach their 10x growth. And yeah, I think I'll give you the stage, Kshitij, and you can take the session forward. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. So it's quite a round table here, too many actually. So let me greet you all first. Thank you for making it so early in the morning. I'm Kshitij, I'm a process coach here at Keka. I help organizations design talent management processes, and today I'll be the moderator for the round tables here. So let me set a quick context about what this round table is going to be. On your tables, you'll have one topic. The topic and the rules are there onto the paper that we are sharing with you. Can I have that on the tables, please? Right, so the team is distributing a set of topics. Every table has a certain topic. You have to go through that topic and share your challenges or solutions on that topic itself. I will be the moderator, so I'll be coming across to different tables. And I'll be having a follow-up discussions in terms of how these challenges come to, you face as an HR every now and then, and how we can encounter those challenges. So the idea was initially to keep a speaker discussion, but in entirety, like we see a lot of disconnect happening in terms of, the line of thought processes that people have. The diversity of customers that we have and the diversity of crowd that we see in terms of industry, it gets a little challenging. So, right, perfect. So the rules are there on the table. Any queries that you have, the team is going to assist you with it. I'd request Keka team to help the tables understand the rules of the round table once. I would request if the round tables could get a little more compacted. I see a lot of left out seats. It will be better if the team is bigger, because the idea of having a conversation and coming to those points will be a lot more streamlined if you have those people here. The team will help you guys settle down a little better. All right, so everybody would have a 20 minutes of time period to basically have these discussions, note down the points, and then I would request every table to choose a leader, which will be doing a short talk in terms of what the points are. I'll be walking to table to have this 5 minutes of conversation with every single table that's out there.
Each table? Good. So how are you this today morning? How's this model calling during working day in the morning time, not giving a drink and dinner? Yeah? Raise your hand if you're liking this morning breakfast wala model. Raise your hand. Keka team, please make a note. This is a feedback survey form. So, okay. Yeah. Okay, so my name is Ashish Gakre. I've been with Keka since last 1 year or more than 2 years. And this is our 10th location. You will not believe, I was there yesterday in Dubai, and that was also Keka event. That is the first international destination. So I'm proud to say there were 125 Dubai HR leaders. They attended similar kind of session, the roundtable conversation. So it went for more than 1.5 hours, and there was very engaging and thoughtful and knowledge sharing conversation happen. And then rest of the 9 locations in India, let me count it now. If I forget, then please add Kshitij. Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Chennai, Kochi, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad. Yeah. So we'll go to some location double. If you give us a good feedback, If you call Keka for demo, we'll come to Kolkata again. Okay, how many of you having a Keka HRMS? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you want to call Keka for a demo? Sales team, where are you? Okay, no, that's on the lighter note, but it's not even sales pitch because, see, there are a lot of HRMS player, every company looking for automation, digitalization, and believe me, then there are the many player you must have gone through, correct? There's a big player, small player and all. So please give a chance to everyone, okay? And what happened during COVID, CEO and CHRO, they were pushing to get the HRMS or any digital tool as early as possible, right? Because there was only the medium to communicate, okay, we need to have some technology in the place so that we can talk to people through technology and have a database ready and all, infrastructure. And what has actually happened, people brought the tool, whatever tool they got that time, and there was no proper assessment done. And this is the study which says more than 50% company looking for a replacement of the tool. It's not only HR, but beyond HR also. Because during COVID, there was a lot of pressure from CEO and management and leadership. Yeah. So in case you are looking for a replacement, you can try Keka. Yeah. My personal feedback, this very good HRMS tool, they cater to only MSME, which is more than 60% of the target population in industries. Then there are the big player also. How many of you know HR Shaper? Okay, so HR Shaper is 9 years old, non-profit, non-registered body. We are there in each and every location of India. We are there in each and every country. Yeah, and that's why, this journey has been there with the Keka in each and every location. We are going to more location. After this, there is a session in Nagpur. Then we are going to Indore, Bhopal, and then we'll cover some other location second time. Yeah, so we do lot of event happening at HR Shaper beyond Keka also. So yesterday, like it was in Dubai. Last week it was in again I stop counting where the event is happening. And then today evening event is happening in Chennai. Then tomorrow event is happening in Bangalore. Then we are celebrating 9th anniversary in Lonavala overnight, 3 days, 2 nights. HR Shaper does lot of engagement also. So if in case you want to join Leh Ladakh bike trip, we are going there. 15 HR Shaper going, 19 July to 30th July. We are going to go to Everest Base Camp. We are going to go to Isha Ashram. We are going to be there on the cruise. So we don't only do the HR, but in case your company not engaging yourself, HR Shaper is there. Leader on the table who will give a views, what is the outcome, observation. I think each table will be given 5 minutes. Kshitij, what is the time we have decided?
Am I audible?
Yeah.
So the time is already up. We'll get started. Let's go about the first table that asked me the question is where I'll go to. Right. So topic of the table. All right, perfect. So topic of the table is how to boost candidate experience while hiring. So have we chosen any team lead for doing the representation, ma'am? Thank you very much.
So basically,
Yeah.
am I audible?
It's better you stand.
All right. Okay. So what I'm representing right now is the opinion of the whole group with inputs from everybody. Okay. One of the major things that we were talking about while enhancing onboarding experiences more from the user and obviously the candidates who are applying for a job. Okay. A lot of times we see that, they apply and then there isn't enough filtering which is happening. So one of the things that was suggested is if we could have some kind of an AI tool which will basically filter out the skills and then send them to the recruitment team so that the candidate does not get disappointed at the end of the day. That's one. The second, also, it saves a lot of time for the organization, in identifying the right talent coming into the system. And thereafter, we also wanted, when it goes to the recruiter, okay, when it comes to the recruiter, we also wanted that there's some kind of a skill assessment which happens. It can either be done manually. If it's a very specific role or a senior role, we can also go for some kind of specific assessments that are done. It can be technology-based or it can be manually done. That again enhances the employee experience because they are aware on what is it that they can look forward to. They don't have to worry about, am I even in the right place? Why are they wasting my time? Why am I being asked so many questions? And then there are a lot of organizations which ask for documentation right at day zero. When I am not sure if I'm a candidate, I'm going to join them also or not. So that is another one. Then we also wanted to do some kind of a scheduler. Okay, and one of the challenges, and what is this challenge is that we schedule interviews, but the panel or the hiring person is not available. Their calendars are blocked. So there's a lot of rescheduling which keeps happening for the candidates. A very bad experience. It gives a very bad brand name as well. So what we wanted is some kind of a hiring panel, and this is a suggestion that was made by the group here, that why don't we have a hiring panel? Instead of saying that only I am going to interview, there should be 6, 7 who are capable of assessing that skill, irrespective of whom that person is going to work under. Right now, there's almost like a one-on-one mapping. So if sir is hiring for somebody, he is the one who's going to interview. And if he's traveling, then I as a candidate have to keep waiting. So why can't we have some kind of a recruitment scheduler which kind of reduces the wait time for the candidate and also enhances their experience of not having to get rescheduled multiple times. Risk for the organization, I may just decide to pick up a job somewhere else where I got interviewed before. And the last part that we wanted to also discuss was that after the offer is rolled out, which for the organization or the recruitment team, that's the last step. But what happens is, like I'm from a technology consulting firm, they join after 60 days, 90 days because of the notice period. And we don't keep in touch. So the organization, we don't keep in touch. So one of the ways that we could enhance that experience is there could be auto mailers that are going out from a system which tells them, okay, this is the culture, these are the core values, something which just keeps them connected to the fact that, yes, you are going to come on board. So these were the points that we really discussed. And if I may have missed out anything, yes.
Hi all, this is Santosh. I want to add a few points which my friend has elaborated. So my points basically after offer rollout to the candidate. So in order to keep the candidate engaged with the organization, we should have a AI tool or chatbot kind of thing to ensure there is a constant communication between the candidate and with the recruiter. And it is not that key recruiter will every time, constantly calling or keeping the mailers. It is not possible while we are doing a mass hiring kind of thing. So here, chatbot has to play a role, key role, to make a, constant touch, and also, keep on sending the messages kind of like what is the organization values, core values, what are the benefits organization is providing to the candidates. And also, during that point of time, the chatbot will ask to the candidate, have you submitted your resignation in your current organization or not? If you have submitted, your resignation is approved or not? If it is approved, what is the relieving date? And what is the tentative date of joining in this organization? And at the same time, the pre-boarding mailer has to be initiated by the chatbot itself. There is no recruiter intervention is required in that. So pre-boarding in the sense that before the candidate comes for joining, like on the day of onboarding, all other formalities has to be over, like documentation formalities I am talking about, except document like a relevant mailer or relieving certificate. Rest all other documents has to be uploaded in the portal, and that has to trigger to the third party for verification. So there is a time frame of 60 to 90 days of notice is there. So it is sufficient time for a third party agency to verify all these documents which he has submitted in the portal. And he has to give a green signal in the portal itself to the recruiter as well as to the candidate. And subsequently, on the day of onboarding, he has to reach to the destination for a slide photograph kind of thing to match the candidate who has appeared the interview and the candidate who is joining, the same candidate. And there itself, AI will play a role to match this. It is the same candidate who has appeared the interview and the candidate who is coming for the joining. That photo is matching, and that matching report should come to the recruiter to verify yes or not. So it is ended there, like so far as the experience, hiring experience for the recruiter as well as the candidate. as well as the panel.
Great
Thank you.
points. Claps, guys. Right, so I'll do one thing. I'll essentially summarize it down, few of the things, right? So the first point mentioned by the table was the filtration of the required attributes within a candidate, right? It could be skills, it could be eligibility criteria, it could be an assessment, right? So many aspects involved. We all have seen recruitment in one or the other phases of our life. We understand how it works. So what I'll do essentially, like this was more from a tech standpoint itself, rather than as an HR challenge, I see it as a solution itself. So what we do here at Keka, how do we look at recruitment as a process? So we at Keka are a hire to retire platform. We kind of try to manage all the different kind of HR ops functions which are existent out there, which includes talent acquisition, which includes HR ops, which includes talent management in terms of performance management or timesheets or whatever is required, and the payroll at the end of the day, right? So in terms of building an onboarding experience for an employee, it's it's more like a job to be done kind of a scenario today, where there are n number of tasks required to be done by n number of stakeholders, right? First, recruiter has to manage the requisitions. Which corner of the company has a requirement of people, right? Are those managers effectively communicating that requirement to the management or the recruiter desk on time or not? So Keka as a platform helps you in streamlining, providing your hiring managers or your department heads or managers, whoever you want to give the rights of raising a requisition, they will be able to do it in a templatized manner.
Here, just to want to forget to add one more point. The time of interview stays when candidates keep on appearing the interviews, and after that, the panel gives the feedback to the recruiter, not exactly to the candidate. So post their interview is over, candidate keep on asking to the recruiter that what is my feedback and all. So when the recruiters are involved in terms of mass hiring, it is not possible to reach to n number of candidates and share the feedback, exact feedback. So at that point of time, I should suggest that AI tool has to play a role in terms of sharing the exact feedback what panel has given. So that feedback mailer has to go to the candidate from the system generated mail. And not only it is about the selection or rejection or shortlisted or something kind of thing, it should go like what are the competencies the candidate is having, and what are the competencies that is lacking, and where the improvement areas. So in terms of that, the feedback should flow to the candidate for future enhancement. Yeah,
just
for
a
future
counter line of thought. Do you think in a candidature phase of a candidate, are we kind of equipped in terms of assessing the lack in competencies that they have? Can we do that in a small period of time? And if we can do it, how justified is it?
See, nowadays, every panel, if you ask, they don't trust the kind of, this platform, means the competency assessment through online. They physically want to interview anyhow, physically through virtual or by face-to-face, right? So at that point of time of discussion, they ask many situation-based questions. And from that situation-based question, they try to analyze this person is confident enough to, take over this particular role or not. A scenario-based question also they ask for all the technology kind of roles. So in this particular scenario, what will be your response, right? So those questions are not, for different candidates, the answer is different, depending on their environment where they are working currently. So coming back to your point, I believe here the AI has to play a role where, all these scenario-based questions are the questions which we can articulate role-wise and float to the candidate to provide their feedback. What is your recommended suggestion to these kind of questions before he comes for the interview, right? So that it will help the panel to understand what is the candidate response in advance, and he can have a discussion, 15 to 20 minutes discussion kind of thing, and coming to a conclusion. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So interest of time, I'll not take any more pointers, ma'am, but please.
To support your point, saying that what cannot be quantified should not be put everything on AI model. And like you rightly mentioned, we as an organization may not be the right panel to tell a person that this is what was lacking. And there is a reason why it doesn't exist in any of the industries today. If I fail to clear somebody's round, then the organization is not obliged to tell the candidate that this is where you lack, because then that accountability is on the organization. Now if I do it and come back, will you hire me? That's a risk as an organization I would not like to take, to be very honest.
Right, and I would not like to take that risk as a human being. I don't want to be assessed by technology or AI, right? So, and the other way around, if you look at it, AI is something which which at the end of the day requires training based off our intelligence. So, will AI be able to do it effectively as of now? I don't think so. It'll take its own time before we actually get there. In terms of, to complete the point where I was, building a great onboarding experience for people. So there are, as Sir mentioned, right? So there were multiple layers of challenges. There are operational challenges in terms of keeping the hiring managers at the bay, right, to get the interviews done, procuring the candidates, getting the requisitions out, rolling out offer letters, doing documentations, then framing up pay structures for people, right? So n number of things are required to be done. Keka as a platform streamlines all of that. You can configure your hiring flows as per the jobs required. And from job postings to the final offer letter rollout can happen over the platform without, it's just a single touch thing actually. So those are great points. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, we'll move to the table number 2. Claps, people. Thank you. Ashish, you have something?
Yeah, no. Hello. Yeah. Some of the point I just want to take, another 20 seconds. Is more important, HR think about, most of the transactional activity, I think first thing is, how much JD is in the place. More clarity on the JD, right? Okay. Is our team ready to take the interview? Is our HR people just passing the resume? Look at the candidate touch point on each and every, it's not only HR, but beyond HR, even, the time somebody is getting enter in the office, or today, nowadays, you have seen candidate experience is really improved because of the technology. How much time we are spending on this and how much time candidate is spending on the interview, because now they are not waiting for, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Even interviewers are ready actually. So more time we need to spend on the other part of the business, which is more of, let's say leadership, business. We need to ensure they are ready to, give a good feel and experience about the company. Yeah.
So in the interest of time, I'm putting a time limit barrier for presentations. 5 minutes is something which we can maximum excuse. So coming to the table number 2, the topic is lack of clarity in performance expectations. Let me quickly set a context of it for everybody. As soon as an organization is built, organization is nothing but people, working in harmony for a common purpose. Now, even if the purpose is common, the jobs are not, right? Every job has a specific reason for, being there. So in terms of lack of clarity in performance expectations is where it comes from, where people join the organization and they're still not clear about the career path. Maybe they're not clear about what they're going to do in this quarter, or maybe 5 years down the line. So on this topic, coming to the table number 2, Mr. Jodeep is going to be the team lead here from Theron Solutions.
Thank you very much. Hi, good morning, everyone. So we are in the table, we are a mix of, from staffing and manufacturing people. So from this point of view, right, we have identified a few of our, for example, lack of clear communication. Communication is the key to everything, each and every problem you have. So basically, and the communication should be omni-channel. Now, the boss or the manager is saying something and I'm doing it without any words or something like that. So that should not be in the case. You have to, one has to, give their own inputs from there. So I guess, lack of communication is I don't know how much communication is present in this scenario, in the world. And and another thing that we have identified is the lack of confidence. Now the lack of confidence can come from lack of knowledge or lack of skill sets, or most of the time people are reluctant to change. People are the resistance, the change, where whatever change we are going through, whatever AI things are coming up, And some, there are, like 70-80% people, they resist to change. Somewhere people change, they, like, it takes a lot of time to, like unfreeze and change and then refreeze and all. So, and also like, lack of proper delegation. So something is like that. Like I, as a person, am responsible for doing something, but I don't have the tools, and I can't, tell the upper management or some people like that, I need those tools. Please give me those tools. And then there is a lot of, like for the hierarchies and all, like, so the long hierarchy, the people that goes, the requisition goes up, up and up and up, and in it gets lost in the hierarchy. So I guess, like these are the some points like where, communication or the instruction or everything, like what, like they are lost in the hierarchy. So I guess, we should look forward to a more flatter organizations, like, or like where in like in the taller kind of thing, like they are all are lost in these hierarchies. So yeah, that's we all, identified. And in case I have missed anything, I would love, people here to contribute here, and let's address those challenges, and let's solve it.
3 pointers that I got out of the table. One is lack of communication, second is lack of confidence, and the third is lack of requisites, where people do not have the required set of things which they require to do their jobs effectively. Now, in entirety, if I talk about performance clarity, right, clarity in terms of how to perform, it all starts with one single process of goal setting in an organization. Now, goal setting, I am pretty sure that everybody would have gone through a goal setting process in their organization over a period of time. We all are professionals here, and of course, from HR community, it's a lot more evident. Now, goal setting is something which is a little difficult to do. Reason being because it requires a goal setting muscle inside people's head, where they should understand that how to write goals. There are n number of methodologies of goal setting available today. We can, there are SMART goals methodology, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. There is OKRs, objective and key results, introduced by John Doerr. There is MBO by Peter Drucker. There is balance scorecard, right? So n number of methodologies exist in terms of goal setting. It depends upon how do you prep your people. Are they really aware about goal setting as a concept? When they're writing their goals, are those goals ambitious enough? Are those goals aligning with the purpose of the organization or the vision of the organization? So if you look at it, any business born today is born to solve a problem in the community. It could be a very simple purpose of maybe delivering a pizza to maybe a greater than humanity purpose like colonizing the Mars, right? So when this purpose travels down into the people, a lot of time people do not have a connect with what it is. So providing that clarity into the organization that people are driven in terms of what is our purpose of doing this thing is something which will bring that sense of clarity and alignment in people. So I think performance management is one effective method as a management structure talks about it. Once we implement this, the lack of communication goes away because once these goals are out there, available in public, almost everybody has an idea, right? I would like to give you one hack which Google implemented, right? So in Google, what they did was, in Google, the goal setting process is a cyclic exercise where twice in a year, they do goal settings. One of the goal setting cycle is about asking people or communicating people what are going to be their aspirational goal moving forward 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line. What do they want to commit to? What purpose fuels them to come to work every day? The second goal setting process is more about taking those commitments out of them, which is more of committed goals. What are the metrics and the numbers that you're going to go after in an upcoming period of time? So cyclically, they design these OKRs. They make sure that those OKRs are written in such ambitious definitions that nobody's ever able to achieve it. If you do 70% of your OKRs, it's considered to be happy achievement for people over there. So such methods are something which HR as a community can bring to the people so that it makes them more effective in terms of delivering the work that they need to do. I understand that there are going to be bigger challenges when we deal with the blue-collar segment of employees in terms of getting the goal setting done, because it's majorly about getting, declaring a set of metric which you are required to achieve. But at the same point of time, if we can actually give them a sense of purpose, we can lend, the organization leadership can lend them a sense of purpose of why do they do this, right? And that should actually ease their lives in terms of doing those mundane jobs which they do on a daily basis. So that's my line of thought. Thank you very much, table number 2. That was great points.
So Kshitij, I want to do some reality check in the hall. You are all from HR, right? Do you know what is your goal setting in your organization? Raise your hand if you know goal setting. This you know. Is it defined in the system? Now raise your hand. Now very few. Okay? It is the same job do you do? Raise your hand. Is the same job do you do what is written in the goal setting? Is your performance being evaluated on the same thing, either what you're doing and what is written? Is your increment based on that? Yeah, so these are the perception in the organization. This is only, HR people are confused. You can imagine how the employee will be confused, right? When an employee is in a big size, where we are not connected to them, neither manager are connected to them. So end of the day, who's going to take care is either manager or the system. And it is more to do with the culture. I will forget both the things, HR and the manager. It's more to do with the culture, more to do with the DNA, more to do with the people who are coming in the organization as an individual. Yeah. So we need to rectify first of all ourselves. Do I know my goal? Do I do what is written in the goal? Am I being evaluated on the same? Do I get the increment based on that? End of the day, whatever you do and you don't do, you look at the salary.
Right, so even if we look at it, goal setting is not supposed to tell you what exactly you need to do. It's also about providing people with that guiding light. It can be flexible. You can, today it's about that itself. Like with a period of time when people work over a year, they kind of propel themselves in all directions, from skills to competencies to certifications, to get that job done in an effective manner. So we should not be that rigid in terms of what people will do in terms of the objectives that they have set. But it is always good to have a guiding light, that what is our direction, in what direction we are supposed to work for the organization. So that sums up the table number 2. We're coming to table number 3. The topic of this table is how can HR assist with employee grievances? To Mahua ma'am, please.
So, very good morning, everyone. Myself, Mohua, and I have in my team Kafi, Anu, and Vinita. So, we are given the topic that how can HR assist with employee grievances. So, according to us, the first step should be we should be listening to the employees with patient ear. That is the first step. Second is providing a temporary solution, because finding the root cause and then giving a permanent solution to the problem, say for example, if we want to bring change in culture altogether, it will take some time. So we must find out some temporary solution, and in the meanwhile, we all should be communicating to the employees continuously, so that they should not feel that nothing is happening. The grievances are being raised and those are pending with the HR or with the concerned manager. So this is the third. And second, the last one is, I would request Vinita to say the another solution, that is she is having in her organization that the help desk, through which the grievances, the employees can raise their grievances and those can be resolved.
So we are already using Keka and it has really helped us. We are using the help desk module. Very recently we have started it and we have added this grievance redressal in the help desk platform already. So where an employee can raise a ticket and it reaches to the assigned person gets a particular time slot, or maybe 4 hours or 5 hours, depending upon what the time has been assigned from the backend. And if it is not resolved at the first level, it is escalated to the another level. So this is how we are taking care of the grievance redressal in our organization.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there is another point. So my name is Kafi Anwar, and I'm leading the strategy at Medhavi Skills University. So we have analyzed our data. So basically, 80% of the grievances are same. So they are repeated. So there, a chatbot or maybe AI can play a very important role. And also, I think in most of the organizations, the grievance, if you analyze the data, so types will be same. So Keka, they are already having more than 7,000 customers, more than 2.5 lakh users. So I think they have a lot of cases already. So they can train their AI, so that can help a lot in basically reducing the time, also the efficiency, and also they can forward to the right person. Generally what happens, there's a communication like from grievance to HR, then HR to the concerned person, and then there's a lot of delays happens. So those delays can be sorted out through the AI-based tools or a chatbot where they can have the live solutions. So this is one of the point. That is a solution, right? Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you very much. There is one more point.
No, not more, one more point. It was regarding this HR thing. Since it is HR analytics, it would have been better in the grievance system. Under the ticketing system, if we can have a sub-tickets that we can raise, so that the grievance can be categorized, and accordingly, if we try to find out the analytics that what is the main cause, what are the major reasons that is happening, or the grievances that the employee is facing, that would be a plus point if it is there. Thank you.
Perfect. Claps, people, thank you.
So, few point, then I have seen some company, they have grievance management, junior management, middle management, and senior management. But may not be all three level, but I have seen there is a separate grievance team for a leadership, because SLA is very different for them. It may not be 24 hours, it may be 12 hours. You can't wait, you can't tell VP to wait for, 24 hours, right? So these are the things happening in the industries anyway. Technology playing very important role in terms of managing grievances, like you said, chatbot, right? What we experience when we look at the data, all the grievances is related to process, policy, system, nothing else. No one-to-one, no face-to-face, nobody is looking for those kind of information in the organization. What is the policy? Where can I get to know? All this information is already there in the company, in the data. We just need to ensure it is available in the chatbot. And then more important is employees should be able to use it effectively. Kshitij, in most of the time and all, they are not able to use it. Then they get up and say, okay, HR, can you please help me? Right? See, policy is always there in the organization, but people still come to HR, right? We have leave policy. They still want to come to HR and say, can you tell me leave? Can you tell me XYZ? So we need to ensure that they should know where are the things available and easily accessible.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, table. Right, so 4 points which came out from the topic. Point number 1, listening to people is important. Second number point is being available to help, right? Let's be out there because these grievances are real. And if you look at human beings, we are nothing but expectations and grievances, right? So if you can manage both of them, I think we can manage people well. In terms of a suggestion, point number 4 was more about a suggestion of how we can actually effectively go about solving this as a problem, which is through analytics. Analytics is the key, right? Analytics is a method where we can take more data-driven decisions. We can make sure that we are able to measure the problem properly, because what Peter Drucker said in 1935 still stands tall, which is if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. So from that aspect, even the grievance redressal works that way. Now, just for a Keka pitch, we at our platform has an employee grievance redressal module, which we call help desk, where you can configure the set of categories which are commonly occurring as a problem in your business. People can come raise their tickets. You can define tags where a system can automatically throw escalation reminders to people at a required period of time. We also, in our Keka universe, we also have partners which are chatbots, like Amber is there, Lena AI is there. We are pre-integrated with these platforms to make sure that if you have if you have a bigger business and you have more grievances coming in, you can always scale down to a more scalable solution. Keka can help you as a first point of reception for these pointers, but if your problem is advanced, right, like just the way you suggested, the AI-based solution can also be there. So we can recognize the patterns of the grievances, and then the system can automatically at least give a prima facie response to people if required. So thank you very much for this point. And I think we'll move on to the next table. Everybody, if you could just give a round of applause for people. Thank you. All right, so in the interest of time, we are left with 35 to 40 minutes, and I have a lot of tables to cover. If we could really keep it short, that will be very helpful. Topic for table number 4 is how to identify performers from non-performers. Now, this is a critical question to answer, right? You can answer it from a standpoint of your own department, of your own team, or you can also look at it as an HR. You also have a power of looking at it from an organization perspective. There is bell curve, there is 9-box, so many different kind of calibration methods are available out there to filter down these things. So coming to the table, do we have a leader here?
শুভ সকাল সবাইকে। Good morning, everyone. So I'm Anay from West Bengal Police Housing. I mean, waking up early at the morning, traveling around 30 to 40 kilometers, sitting on a table like that, I feel like I'm at my early 20s. Thanks, Keka. It feels like I'm giving an interview or something like that. Okay. So the topic you have given us is to how to identify performers from the non-performers. The first and foremost thing I would like to suggest is to identify the KPIs, the key performance indicators for a particular role. And most importantly, it's not about allocating a resource to a particular task. It's to match the skill set to the particular job role which is given. Skill set should be matched with the objective of a particular job role or the task to be done. And number two is analyzing the rate of failures and monthly or quarterly review. Instead of having a yearly review system, we should have one monthly or quarterly, half yearly, like that. 360-degree feedback from each and every level of managers of a particular employee is needed to identify who can perform. I mean, we should be so much flexible to give a purpose to the particular employee who are not performing at all. We should give them a motto to achieve something. And now, thank you so very much. Now, I would like to ask you from your side what we can do in this regard for our betterment or betterment of the organizations and all.
All right, so I see a lot of points written, and yeah, I get the topic is a little confusing also to answer. Now, in terms of the pointers, what I received, I'll brief that first. So in terms of how to identify performers from non-performers, 4 solutions which you already have from the table. One is KPI measurement. We have to measure how people performed against their key performance indicators. And second is cyclic reviews, just to make sure that we have a cyclic visibility in terms of who's performing, who's not performing. If somebody is not performing, how do we get them back on track? Third is 360-degree feedback, to make it more holistic in terms of 90-degree, 180-degree are way more biases. There are too much biases, recency, halo effect, horn effect, unconscious biases. So keeping that in perspective, 360-degree has its own set of benefits. That's another thing. And the fourth pointer is working on non-performers. The easiest possible way that organizations look at doing that is performance improvement plans. So designing an effective performance improvement plan, which gives an employee a chance to improve. Rather than just PIP. Majorly, if you look at it, the organizations are utilizing it from a perspective of firing people. That you're non-performer, you are in PIP, 1 more month, and then you're out. Right? Let's not do that to people because it's very brutal. We don't want that. Moving people out of business in that way. Right? So that is there. Now, how do we make it measurable? Performance management definitely does that. Right? Rating process will give us a digit in terms of what kind of a performer you are, right? Are you a 3.5 or you are a 4 or you are 4.5, right? That also does not entirely justify it. If you look at the best ways of doing it, calibration models, the normalization models are the best ways to do it. So while you are doing reviews and ratings across the organization, everybody will land to a certain rating. Ideally, the top 10% could be the top performers. The rest 70% could be bracketed into average performers, above average performers, or any other bracket that you want to create. And then the last 10% or 20% you can pick down as a non-performer. The other way around, if you're measuring KPIs, competencies, and values of people, 9-box becomes a possibility. Because now you are assessing not only the performance of people, which was how did they perform on their KPIs, but you will also be measuring the potential of people. That how skilled are you in terms of handling the set of responsibilities that you have. So 9-box is a more holistic view in terms of which of the people are on the top of the grid, to the people who are at the bottom of the grid, people who are very potent but not really performing well right now, people who are performing really well but probably if they get some few skills, they will do excellent. So that gives you a lot of possibilities in terms of creating those cross connections of which set of people can work with which set of people to make sure that it is a holistic development happening in the organization. So that is my way of looking at it if you are asked for a solution. Keka as a platform does that for you. We are a one-click performance reviewing platform where you can configure your performance cycle. Review forms can go effortlessly. All the ops, the platform will manage for you. Of course, the goal setting we cannot. That is your business use case. And that travels from top to bottom. So, of course, that's something which you have to figure out. But from the ops side, getting to this calculation of ratings and identification of which of the people are performing well or not performing well can be done very effectively over our platform. So, thank you very much, the table. All right, so we have 30 more minutes before we wrap up. So coming to the table, the next topic is what are the key analytics to manage in HR? Is there any other table also that would like to take a dig at that? I'll come to this table anyways. All right, no volunteers. Right, so who's the team lead? I'll repeat the topic once again. What are the key analytics to manage in HR? So HR as a function also has a scorecard of measurement. Are we doing really well in terms of the responsibilities that has been bestowed upon HR as a department or not? So your answer, ma'am, please.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Debashmita. I have joined Keka event along with my manager from Nalanda Learning. So basically most of the topics been covered. So the topic I got is key analytics to manage in HR. See, if the company goal, expectation, their turnover and their branding is properly done, it is very easy to manage the entire thing from the HR end because HR is the face of the company. So once you are done with all your branding job, it is easier for HR to face it from like a company to candidates while recruiting and company to the employees while managing. And I feel personally that the benefits and the satisfaction level of the employees who are organized with our organization would be the focus point to retain them and to work with them. So make it more clear and give them an opportunity to share their expectation towards the company would be a added value. And apart from that, obviously, the point already been discussed, that is the performance evaluation, recognition, and appreciation. Obviously, it is very important. And the last point I would like to mention is the settlement part. Most of our employees work very hard to for the company, and the time of settlement, they face many of the hassles while they are getting separated from the company. So I feel this should be more focused so that the employee gets their proper value towards their hard work to the company. Thank you.
All right, perfect, claps people. All right, so these were pretty good as a pointer. I'll do one thing, I'll cut short my speeches in all the tables. Talking about Keka's role in helping you manage HR analytics, I'll just quickly take 30 seconds into that. So if we, anybody has taken an certification on analytics, on HR analytics? All right, so that's quite a bad number. We can actually go to Keka Academy, free certifications available for analytics and all the different aspects. I'll come to you, right? So in terms of analytics, I'll give you a quick introduction about how analytics works in an organization. So if you look at analytics, there are largely 4 different segments of analytics. There is, it starts with descriptive analytics, which talks about how your organization is doing, describes your current stats, the number of people, and the kind of workforce that you have, the demographics and all of that, right? So that is one aspect. Then we have descriptive is there. There's predictive analytics, which talks about what is going to happen in the future, depending upon the previous data that your organization or people analytics that you have in the organization. There is prescriptive analytics, which prescribes that what should be done in terms of what strategy should be framed in the organization to make sure that it works out efficiently. And then we have historical analytics, which is diagnostic analytics, which is over a period of time what happened in the organization. We assess the data and we try to conclude that. Now, Keka as a platform provides you all these 4 analytics, right? With a period of time, you can set up descriptive analytics. You can, the descriptive analytics are touch and go. The best part that we have done in terms of analytics is we have dashboards available for specific users. If it is an employee, if it is a manager, if it is an admin, all of them can see their own specific set of real-time analytics, which will effectively make you take decisions whenever it is required to be done. So we are scaling our solutions in these directions just to make sure that this efficient decision making can be done. Now, one strong use case which comes into my mind is the attrition analysis. Right? We all do that. We all try to understand that what's hurting our business, the business that we are committed to, or everybody's committed to. What exactly went wrong in terms of people are leaving the organization? What could have gone wrong? So potentially, if you try to assess it on the different verticals, like the age, right? We say millennials are not loyal, right? So that's another problem. So this is something, right? A lot of gigs here, right? So that's real, right? So you can actually look at data. In my opinion, I think millennials are pretty loyal. I have been in Keka for 10 years now. I was part of the initial 7-people team when the organization started. I'm still here, so. Right. Then we have reasons, every industry is specific, right? There are safety-related issues. There might be n number of aspects. Technology, maybe the innovation is lacking, right? So the platform will give you all these configurations. You can always create those kind of attributes that during the exit interview, if you capture the reason, the system is going to tell you that which are the areas on which the HR needs to work in the upcoming financial year or time moving forward. So that is the aspect of analytics. It will actually give you the control of taking more data-driven decisions rather than just going about taking decisions on your vibe or experience or whatever it feels like. If you don't do it on analytics, I think it's just all fuzzy thinking, which is just based upon an air of experience that everybody has. So thank you very much for the points.
I think slowly, steadily, we are creating that workspace where manual Excel sheets are taking a step back and currently creating dashboards. And I think leveraging Tableau as one of the growing softwares in our industry is always one step ahead. Right? So the dashboard, creating a dashboard is what we are currently focusing on, and quoting actually with the consent of my manager, I'm currently pursuing HR analytics by IMK. It's collaborated with Upgrad. So there, I think the bombastic change that I have noticed, that creating a dashboard where you have your historical plus your current data is very important, because you are not going to search your old bunk of emails where there was an exit interview taken place, who was exited, what was the reason he mentioned. That has taken a step back. I guess you keep it on Tableau or you keep it in your Google Sheets. It should be highly trackable with all the managers, and with one click the data should come up and show it to you why that person left, or why are we getting so much of attrition rate in the sales department, whether it's the target not achieved or whether it's the manager putting a lot of target pressure. So I think dashboard is the new norm with the help of any software. It could be Tableau, it could be your Google Sheets, but a dashboard which is visible to your direct reporting manager, definitely as a HR department, vis-a-vis any organizational structure you're currently working with. I think at that point I wanted to add.
Few things. I would request everybody in this hall to go through analytics course, which can be 1 week, which can be 1 month or 3-month analytics course. Second course, everybody should invest into HR digitalization. Yeah, and Kshitij, with the analytics, it reminds me that there are 3-4 points in the analytics or analysis. We deal with so much of data every day, every time, every second. Can we convert data into information? Then knowledge, then you talk about the predictive analysis. Right?
And eventually an actionable item.
Yeah, then so actionable item, which everybody look for. Most of us, including me, don't know more than 20% of Excel actually. That way we get to know actual uses of Excel, we don't need anything else. Yeah, so we don't know even Excel, and Excel is very productive tool. Yeah. Whether you know HRMS, whether you can see dashboard, how to look at and how to understand. If you know Excel, that is sufficient. So Excel, HRMS is actually advanced version of Excel.
Okay. All right.
Food for a thought.
Got it. I don't want to be called that, but fine. So, great points actually. So dashboarding is critical. If your data is not giving you an actionable item, or if it is not telling a story to people, a story to act on, then the job is not done right. You give data over an Excel to people, and they might do whatever. It goes on with the sentiments of
क्षितिज
people.
कितने बार इट्स अगेन इनपुट, कितने बार आपके मैनेजर सीईओ ने आपको बोला है सेंड मी द डेटा, शो मी द डेटा, गिव मी द डेटा, राइट? You know why they say? So that they can buy more time. And they know you can't get the data whenever they want. You yourself will take almost 7 days. First is to get the data, then you will understand, because he will also ask few questions. Nowadays, elevator speech is also important. Even if your data, can you summarize the data and say, okay, this is what I want to communicate. Having a data, then telling you about the data is both are different things.
True.
And technology play a very important role. Most of even I have seen leadership do not use the dashboard. They still say, okay, send me the Excel file.
Right. Yeah, it's high time to move out of it. I would like to experience HR analytics. I think everybody should experience HR analytics from a perspective of somebody who has done a certification or invested efficient time onto it. So, Ria, from your opinion, how has knowledge of HR analytics has helped your organization improve the quality of work that you do out there?
So, a very good morning to all of you. So let me give you a little bit background about why I studied this. So to begin with, I was doing my post-graduation from Ghaziabad back then, IMT. And after that, somebody just told me that, it's a COVID time, nobody's going to hire you because there are a lot of people who are studying HR and they're looking for a job. Why should someone hire you? So one of the professor has suggested me that why don't you study HR analytics? Like this is something, it's a skill set that you're going to acquire. Recruitment is there, HR BPs are there. Analytics is a little upper hand. So I did my post-graduation after that from from Amity, Noida. And we did 7 capstones projects on that. So there were a lot of aspects in that. Talking about my current company that I'm associated with is a solar-based company in Bangalore right now that I'm working with. And the first thing the owner told me is that, we face a lot of attrition, number one. We face a lot of people who don't want to join us. There is a lot of issues that they came up with. And they told me that, yeah, how to go about it right now, because hiring an HR won't solve that problem. So I said that, give me 60 days only, and I need a lot of data in the meanwhile. It can be, verbal also. If you have Google Forms and all, that will also work for me. It took me 60 days. I made we were talking about the dashboard, I went to Tableau. I made a data region-wise, that why from certain region people don't want to come into the solar industry, why there is a low acceptance rate in terms of salary, because renewable industry people don't get that much amount of salary that people from the consulting as well as the IT and the other industry get. So it's a very upcoming industry that we are this particular industry is. So I made a proper data a dashboard where in the one click a person, why he's from Ranchi is not joining Bangalore, that will also come. So that's the power of data actually, and HR analytics does that very well. And talking about the attrition and all, I also did a compare ratio. We all know this formula, like why this industry, pays low. Because we have a site visit engineers and all. This is slightly different. People who have to climb up to the roof to see the solar panels and all. So that's a different sort of a skill set that is required. You don't need to be someone who has studied a lot. Triple E pass out and someone who does have AutoCAD and all, they can be able to do that. So analytics is something like, you have a power when you know the facts and figure. People look up to those people who knows facts and figure nowadays, not someone who talks, have mein baat and all. So analytics actually does that part. Why there is why people, if my manager asked me, like I did have a performance review last month, he asked me that why, some people, the attrition rate and everything came down a lot, why people are not accepting. So department-wise, position-wise, I can actually say that, we are not providing the money or the amount of CTC that we are expecting. So I have a data now, I have that power, facts and figure data. In 2023, in the month of June, what is the figure which is going on in Bangalore, Hyderabad, even in Ranchi, Nagpur, Pune, Calcutta, etc. So power of data is what is required right now, rather than quantifying things that they are not, they didn't pick up the call.
So
No.
it's always a currency, which we need to encash. Without data, you are just opinion. Without data,
Yes.
information, knowledge, you are
Yes.
just opinion. Nobody will care about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And you also need to understand how the data is being presented. Attrition example you are giving, there are companies, and your company may be one of them. They exclude some of the data and then show the attrition which is less than 10%. And if you add up everything, then it may go 25%. And this kind of analysis done by the big company, They will say, I won't include freshers. I won't include those who spent 6 months in a company. So these are all the game which is played by so many people, and then this is how the analysis is being done.
All right, so
Analysis is very, very important. Like if people think that, data is not required, you can only work day-to-day basis, you're logging in, you're working, and, you're calling it a day after 6 o'clock, it doesn't make sense. So
And
the
then another contradictory point is HR is more of human touch, face value. So we need to be very careful and maintain the balance, Should I look at the data? Should I listen to the people?
no, I
Data may say something, but actually it has happened something way.
HR as a face value, I want to believe that HR definitely has a seat at the business table, because business, it's people, and without somebody on the business table talking about what people require, where people are right now, and what their aspirations are, it's hard to plan anything. So we at our organization, we try to give that importance, to HR, empower them in a manner so that they're able to give us, and they empower us back. So it's a dialogue, a healthy dialogue that you can establish between the table and the HR community. Jumping the queue a bit, I will be coming back to the tables also. So for the next table, the topic is resistance to implement change. Now, change management is the thing. Since 2020, I think we have lived our lives with that definition itself, where everything changes on a weekly basis, and probably, this week you're supposed to come to office for 2 days, and then 3 days you're supposed to be at home, right? So many changes happening. Other than that, the dynamics of business is changing. If you look at it, technology with AI, ChatGPT, bots, so many aspects coming into play. We need to really redefine the business, the way we look at it. So 2020, COVID was not the only point of time where business continuity plannings were required to be done, just to make sure that how will we still make the business go, even if the situation is wrong. It still is out there, very real. So from the table, I would like to take the pointers, and that would be great.
Thank you. So first of all, very good morning to all. So I got the point like resistance which are implementing to the changes. So first of all, I believe the people mindset which is resisting the implementation of changes and new things, because fear factor of getting new things and losing some things are the most important mindset which people are carrying nowadays, so that people are thinking like staying in the comfort zone and moving with the existing things will be the only thing where people can go with the existence. But taking up new challenges will be the another thing where people can grow in their lifestyle and career also. So people, as I'm not directly from the HR, I'm from the placement department where I'm supplying manpower to the organization as per their requirements. I can see with the candidates' mindset, people are not ready to relocate, people are not ready to take up new positions, people are not ready to go up for the new challenges so that they can also have the hike in their salary. So only one resistance which I can believe, that if you really want to change in your career, in your lifestyle, then you have to accept the changes also. Because acceptability and adaptability is the main issue which nowadays people are carrying. If people are getting more broader in their mindset and open up their mindset to take up new challenges, take up new changes in their lifestyle, they will definitely grow in their career and their lifestyle as well. So I got a very good line from Anusha, that be the changes if you want to see the changes. So I will hand over the mic to her. She can represent these things very well also. Thank you so much. It is the all from my end.
So my team is pretty excited about the work Anuja's organizations does. So a bit of a reference
Hi,
of that would be
everyone.
helpful.
So I am representing Snappy Cabs. We are an EV app cab service provider. We have started from Calcutta and we plan to spread our wings quickly in the entire eastern zone. Thank you everyone for coming here. It's wonderful seeing everyone this early in the morning. And for me as well, it's the first event that I'm attending this early, and it's quite unique and exciting, and I can say very confidently that I can see everyone at their best. You know, they're full of energy and they want to speak and they want to engage. It's great. Quickly moving back to the topic, I think what we were discussing, I think we can all agree, I speak for the table. What happened is that we forgot what normalcy is, you know, because 3.5 years back when there was no COVID and we did not know it was coming our way, we were normalized and we were habituated to coming to office. That was our normal. Now, of course, the new normal is that people want to, work from home, and they are very complacent and very comfortable in their homes. They wake up at 10 when they have to log in at 10:30. So we understand that. Even I understand that. My brother, he's also been working from home for the past 3.5 years. Although I have never worked for more than 3 months from home. So when I had to go back to office after 3 months, the first Monday I was dreading it. So I understand where people are coming from, where they don't want to go back after all these years. But again, we have to sort of, as organizations, but most importantly as individuals, we have to understand that we have to somewhere at some point go back to the normal, which is coming to office, interacting with, 4 people, and getting our work done just by walking over to the other table, Things get done very quickly when you're at work. There are so many reels on Instagram, there are so many videos on Facebook that make fun of what happens at a workplace. They say that, you get more work done at home, the volume of work, more work gets done at home when you're not interrupted. But I would like to disagree respectfully, that when we are at home, there are pros and cons to everything. Like for people who are married, especially women who are married, it is convenient for them, I would agree. They can do their laundry at their own sweet time. They can, quickly cook something up and then go back to, logging in to their work. That is convenient. I would agree to that. It's a very strong setup to disagree from. But again, we have to sort of understand at some point that we still used to be married and still used to come to office. We still had our kids and we still came to office and managed our work and then went back to home. So we have to, as individuals, somewhere identify and accept the old normal as normal. So yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anuja. Those were very empathetic points and very real also. Myself, if I talk about my experience, after the lockdown, 1.5 year of work from home, first 1.5 year, I used to stick my cat to the wall just to make sure I could do my meetings properly. That was one problem that I used to face. The another thing was I was more like an astronaut after 2 years, where my legs gave up. I tried to go to office for a couple of weeks, but I couldn't because they didn't work that properly. So there are definitely pros, and I'm talking about the cons here. So great points, table. The topic of resistance to implement change, I think it's pretty much covered very widely. It's the change management, like the emotional agility that the organization has or your team has. That is one great solution. But building agility it's a skill in its own, right? You have to master all the emotions just to make sure that first you can observe inside the people and then eventually do something about it. So great points. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next table after this. So Mr. Manoj is our partner for a long period of time. Thank you for being here in the event. How was your experience so far? Let's start.
Hi, good morning everyone. This is Manoj Bhandari from Fortuna. So the topic which has been given to our table is how to improve travel and reimbursement. So going by whatever our group of people we are here, we have discussed about a lot of things. So travel is something wherein the field people who are traveling on the field, the major problem is basically to have the CRM wherein all the calls which they are going to make, those things has to be mapped in the system. And then based on that, whatever travel they are doing, so if they are doing the travel maybe on Ola, Uber, or if you are doing a travel maybe on their own mobiles or cars basically, how to automate those travel distances so that they get their reimbursement very easily and quickly. And apart from that, basically, something wherein the app-based GPS tracking so that people can actually see where the teams are and then can schedule the calls based on the day-to-day changes which happens, Apart from that, a couple of other things are the approvals. So how to get the travel reimbursement quickly to the team so that there is no follow-ups and stuff like this. So this approval systems are something wherein there is some gaps which takes some time to get the reimbursement done. And the structured process basically, wherein some way, if we have the CRM part and the travel part and the reimbursement part all being connected together, so that, the approver who is trying to approve whatever travel has been done, I mean, he is going with the customer and he's taking him to a hotel or whatever, So all those things basically is connected to the reporting, and that is where the disconnect is, So somehow if this particular point is taken care of by a way where CRM works in a different manner and HRMS works in a different manner, if they can be seamlessly be integrated together, I think the solution is done, So that's all from our side. Anything else which our team want to add,
Right, so thank you very much. The energy has gone low into the hall. I can totally feel it. So we'll quickly move forward. I really can't make people do effort and then skip that. So to the table. Right, so Jyotsna is going to talk about how is organization structure critical for HR strategy. Now, just to give a small reference about what organization structure is, every organization has a structure. It could be organic, it could be strategic, it could be tactical. If you look at it, the kind of business that you have built, the structure of organization largely depends upon that. If it's a bank, there's going to be regions, hub, branches, right? You might have a city level HR structure, you might have management structure available onto the branch level also. If you talk about education institution, it varies. So from your standpoint, ma'am, how is organization structure critical for the HR strategy?
Hello everybody, I'm Jyotsna. We believe that having an organization structure is superbly critical because it definitely brings a sense of clarity to everybody, be it the person who is in the organization, the management, and the sub-business units that's in the organization. An organization structure also directly impacts a lot of decision-making, beginning from hiring. If a person knows where he stands in the organization, and we as a team or as a HR team maybe, and when we are asked to hire somebody and we know which team is having a lot of manpower, which has deficit manpower at what level, that sense of clarity is brought through an organization structure. So it's important to have a very well mapped organization structure in place. It also helps us do gap analysis. What kind of gap analysis? It could be a skill gap analysis, manpower requirement analysis, so on and so forth. An organization structure is also very important for succession planning. As I told, when we have a couple of people in the organization, if somebody is, say, retiring or somebody is leaving, who is next? So having an organization structure where we know who stands where helps the person know his career trajectory, because that's superbly important for his motivation and also for us to push him to be the next person in that particular position. It also helps us in compensation planning. If an organization structure is critically put across, we know which of the functions are revenue generating functions, what is the cost for each of this function. It helps us also map our compensation accordingly. Apart from revenue generating functions, the non-revenue generating functions that are also there, how much time and money can we invest there, how many people should be there, and how many people can drive the required set of goals through goal setting. I think all of this is linked to organization structure. Even doing the fishbone analysis, where we go to the root cause analysis, understanding where to map what. Organization structure is superbly important in all these aspects. We also, think that it helps us assess our current workforce. We also discussed about performance, identifying performers and non-performers, having a pay plan in place. So organization structure necessarily helps us assess who's performing, who's not performing, who's at the same level, helps us benchmark as well. And we believe organization structure is important to align all of us in the organization, align each business function, and also the cost and revenue. That's pretty much it from our side. Thank you.
That's pretty much everything from the subject also, if you look at it. Brilliant, right? A clap, I think the table deserves it. I'm bowled out, I don't have any points to add here. Keka will manage HR structure, right? So that works. So coming to the next table, please. The next topic is very close to my heart, I guess for everybody it's very important. How to build right culture in the organization. So culture is the key moving forward, right? The kind of people that we have become. Without a culture, there is no retention, nowhere. Nobody's, it's a well-blooming economy. Nobody's desperate enough to do anything, right? It has to be into certain standards, certain definitions, which inspire people to be there. So, table, if we could get the points, let's start with an introduction.
Good morning, everyone. This is Parneeta. I am from mehoop.ai. It's a software company where we are working in the conversational AI domain. And we are working with speech data, giving solutions to people, particularly in the contact center universe, also in the automotive space, where you can actually, implement the speech AI and talk to your cars, right? And also in different regional languages in India. So now coming back to the topic, on behalf of the table, the topic is, I think, culture, right? Culture is everything we have been talking about so far. And our topic is also to identify challenges in building the right culture, right? So first challenge is the lack of understanding of the concept culture. Because the larger understanding is that, if there is any engagement event, if there is any festivals that we are celebrating, that is culture, but that is not it. That's just one tiny part of it, right? Culture is everything. Culture is how you behave, how you talk to people, how you hire, how you onboard, how you define your performance matrix, how you actually evaluate it, how you keep open spaces, and it just goes on, so on and so forth. So yeah, that is the main and biggest challenge, that people do not understand what culture is. Second is diversity, of course, because people are coming from different backgrounds, different age groups, different industry experience, different individual experience as a human being, right? So they come with different understandings in organizational culture when they are coming in. And then the challenge is also coming in the change management, right? What we talked about, right? So when we come with an understanding, there is 90% chance that there will be resistance. So yeah, diversity is one of the challenges. Second is, the next one is lack of structures, right? So you need to have structures in place to be able to communicate well and ensure that the communication is reaching from the top level to the bottom grassroots level, right? And I think Keka has been a great structure in implementing few of the things, right? And I have been using Keka HRMS in last 3 organizations, including the current one, right? And we have been using different modules, right? Starting from high-row to onboarding to goal setting, performance management, exits, everything, barring a few. So this has been really helpful, right? Because keeping a central system also talks about culture, and not keeping like different softwares for different purposes, right? So we have been able to drive all these things using Keka, including like different announcements, polls. So that's also engaging. People are seeing that, okay, things are coming here, and we can actually engage with each other through the platform, right? And another challenge is, misalignment with the vision and mission of the company, and that also, comes under how you communicate things, right? So these are some of the challenges. There are multiple others, but I'll keep it limited. But some of the solutions, I think I have already talked about, implementing a structure like Keka, which we have already been using, and also, how you sensitize people, how you spread awareness of the HR function itself, like what HR function is there for, what different things HR department is doing. Because another challenge is also acceptance of the HR function and what they are doing, what they are telling us to do in an organization. And yes, there has been resistance that why will I do something that I am asked to do, right? So yes, how you sensitize people, how you create spaces for collaboration, right? For L&D, you can drive cross-functional collaborative models, and also involving people in decision making in smaller possible ways, right? So one structure we use is, we create different smaller committees where people are, assigned certain tasks. For example, a sports committee, they are assigned that, okay, every month they have to arrange for a small or a big event. So that way they are also making decisions. Of course, they are going to pitch to the management, and that's how it is working. But involving people in decision making is also very important, because nowadays, people, it's very important to give people visibility and giving that platform where they can actually voice their opinion, and not through only the surveys once or twice a year. So yeah, I think that's pretty much from our table.
So just in interest of time, last 10 minutes, I understand I've been getting requests to wrap it up. The next table has a topic of training need identification of employees. So any pointers that we have from the table, that will be great to have.
Very good morning to everybody. And I represent Spectrum Filtration, which is a manufacturing company dealing with filters, as you can understand from the name. So without further ado, directly to the point. The topic that we had was training need identification. Now, the topic itself, embodies a need factor. So I guess Keka is trying to address that need. But more importantly, the two areas, which is the possibilities and which is the bottlenecks. If we arrive at that, we see a bottleneck in the self-assessment ability of the individual in identifying the training need, Because being a manufacturing company, you'll appreciate the kind of people we have starts from the rock bottom ground level people to a level which actually has a lot of finesse required in that portfolio. So our concern starts from the mid towards the down level people. So the company can adopt a lot of ideas, but how to its core essence, can it be followed by those people who are at the rock bottom is our primary concern. Linked with this comes in the time factor, because as an HR, the responsibility lies with us to inculcate the need into the people, but there is a competence factor and there is a repetitive reinforcement time factor to drive this till that level. So there, and along with that, of course, for a mid and a small level company, the budget is also a factor. So keeping people out of work, all the productivity hours that goes behind these grooming or the orientation of this training need to be identified, all these is seen as a bottleneck for certain. The solution that we can come up with, of course, it is a little utopian and idealistic, but to a certain extent, the regular and systematic modules that can be developed for people, not necessarily always in the written format, because at that level, the time and effort required for that may not happen. So more on the auditory mode, if modules which are visuals and audios that can be given to them, which they can keep looking at and keep getting tuned to understand this is what is expected of them. And apart from that, we also have look into our segmentalized goals or the needs that needs to be addressed from those category of people. So if it's the, let's say the shop floor people, then what is the need from the organizational point of view? And we try getting back to them to ask whether it is something that they identify or not. So it's kind of a feeding that would require a response in assertion or in denial. So this could be another that could help in simplifying the process. So these are the things that we had in mind. Others are welcome to contribute.
Right. Thank you very much, ma'am. I have stopped my contributions long back. So the next table, we have two more tables left, another 5 minutes to wrap up. The topic is lack of employee engagement. Employees today need constant engagement. Ashish begs to differ onto that. He has a very different outlook of employee engagement, but we'll make sure that he talks about it. I don't see him here right now. So coming to the table, any pointers that you guys have summarized?
Hi, Namaskar. Good morning. My name is Shoikat. I'm representing a group which is almost 150 years old. It's Usha International. I have with me Mr. Akash, who's not here. He's from AKJ Engineering, and Ms. Shoma. She's representing Siddha, a very well-known brand in Kolkata and other parts of the country as well. So for all three of us companies, our employees are mostly doing outdoor jobs. So for us, employee engagement is quite different. So the challenges that we have mentioned are specifically the challenges we face as an organization. We've considered two aspects. One is strategic and one is operational. The first one, the pointer that we have mentioned is post-COVID, almost all the organizations have been facing the similar challenges, that is getting a proper budget for employee engagement. The second pointer that we have is getting people who are actually working outdoors, getting people at one place for an engagement activity is a real challenge. The third one is we have tried online platforms for engaging employees. It doesn't really work for our industries. And the fourth challenge would be calculating and actually monitoring an ROI of post and engagement activity and actually understanding if the activity was effective or not. The last pointer is ensuring any sort of individual attention or individual attention via an engagement activity for a specific group of employees, especially the blue-collar employees. That's when we are doing an engagement activity on a larger scale, it's really tough to provide individual attention to a particular group of people. So that's the fifth challenge that we discussed. I'll try to keep it very short because there's no time. That's all.
Thank you very much. Round of applause to everybody. So second last table, the topic is how to increase employee vacationing experience. So employee leaves is something which, if we practically look at it, we just talk about metrics and, when can people apply, when people cannot, what are traffic days and stuff like that. But essentially, when this entire journey started in the workplaces, it was more from creating that vacationing experience for people where they're effectively able to utilize the holidays and the leaves which are being provided to them. So I would like to take the thoughts from Sampurna on, off the table, how it's done. Yeah.
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Sampurna Banerjee from Eastern Financials Limited. I'm representing my table. The question is how to increase employee vacationing experience. And we have 5 points to discuss. Number one that has come up in our mind and we are practicing is mandatory PL, which is a privileged leave or a blocked leave for 10 days, which you're supposed to take in the entire financial year. And as in, it is a compulsion that you go for a vacation and it increases the employee productivity. So number two is having a proper business manual. That is something like every employee should have a business process manual wherein there are 4-5 components of it. One being the frequency of your task, how frequently you're doing it. Maybe you're doing it daily, quarterly, weekly, monthly, as like this. Number two is a brief note of what are the tasks that you're performing on a daily basis or maybe on a weekly basis, and the list of priority and in detail how you're doing it, the entire process. So that when you're on a vacation, your fallback, there is a system of fallback as well, and the fallback knows what is to be done on what priority basis. So maybe that person is managing his task or her task, and is also trying to manage your task without bothering you. Maybe over phone, there is without even calling you or probably contacting over mail. So to avoid that, this is a policy that we have come up. Number 3 is a specific clause that is a kind of policy not to contact the employee while on vacation. So, it also gives you a confirmation from an employee's point of view that no employee is indispensable. And it gives you a proof that a company can run independently without any problem, without any interference from the employee. So yes, this is number 3rd. 4th is leave travel allowance. I think we all are aware of this. So we get the benefit of the tax exemption as well. Number 4th is probably issuing corporate credit cards in the name of the employee. So that gives them liberty to use those cards in the lounge, probably redeeming those points while on vacation. So yes, these are the 5 points that has come up from our table. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Those were brilliant points. I'll require a mic here. So coming to the last table, the topic is how to measure employee satisfaction. I would like to take a quick voting here. Is it possible to measure employee satisfaction? If yes, please raise hand.
And thank you for having me, Keka. So I have these people with me, and we have come up with a couple of points on how to measure employee satisfaction. So the first point is employee turnover rate. The next point is work-life balance, compensation and benefits, and the 4th one is empowering our employees. People should know what's required of them and giving them the chance to grow. And then the last one is rewards and recognitions. So these are 5 points we have with us, and thank you, Phil.
All right, so thank you everyone for being so patient. It was a 1 hour, 20 minutes exercise.